Well, hello everybody, and welcome to a beautiful day to be wandering around in the gardens. And without much delay, let's just get on that. I want to start with the garden ships, those straw bales, and just kind of work our way around from there. The tomatoes are looking gorgeous, so yeah, let's get started. Alright, so I say these straw bales are looking gorgeous, and from my garden, they really are. One thing that's not, though, is I've got some pretty severe powdery mildew going on with these zucchini, with that pumpkin over there. At the same time, though, hopefully they're showing up. I see 3 beautiful zucchini in there. There's another one forming up the back on the other plant. So we haven't taken any of these off yet, but I am quite excited for the first harvest. I think there will definitely be some zucchini muffins or something in the near future. How about these peppers and these garden ships? These are doing so well. I think it's the sponge of the straw underneath keeping them nice and moist and nice and happy, because they are just so much more vibrant and green than the ones that are in the soil garden. It's really quite amazing to me. But look at some of these Hungarian wax peppers. These are just fabulous. Some nice size to them. It'll be quite a while before they take color. I mean, once you get your peppers on there, it does take several weeks for them to get to their proper ripe color, but a wait that is well worth it. Look at this, we got jalapeno down there. Not bad. It's really the only jalapeno that I can find so far, but still not bad. Now these cucumbers, they look terrible, don't they? They look like this every day. It's been incredibly hot. And that said, we've had, I think, 4 cucumbers off of this so far. I've got another nice one hanging down there. It's an oddly shaped one kind of on the ground there. And there are plenty more sprouting up. So I water it in the evening. Apparently I should be watering it in the morning. But compared to everything else, it's just not terribly happy. So that is kind of interesting, but like I say, maybe if I put a jug out here that just slow drips either side or something, a few gallons over the course of the day. Not quite sure what I'm going to do to solve that problem, but we have been allowed to use the neighbor's little pump and well set up there, so we've got a barrel under it now. Much easier to get water, don't have to wait and worry about the rain quite as much. Anyway, so with the next garden ship here, these tomatoes were the prize tomatoes of the yard. They looked absolutely fabulous. I'm like, this is fantastic. Never again will I do anything else. At least we do have some fruit on here, eh? Interesting. The black crims take some interesting colorations, but now, as you will see in a few moments, these are no longer the pride and joy of the tomato collection. I mean, it is nice to see some actual fruit, and it's certainly easy to get to it to see the fruit, but these are not, I don't know, they started off a lot better than I think they're doing now. Got the pumpkin, it's finally doing the sprawl thing like I was hoping, stretching out into the yard. I'm going to have to kind of kick it back that way. Well, when I say kick, gently peel it and move it back that way. But it is definitely on the grow, and that is nice to see. Now I guess got to get underneath the cloth to see how these things are doing. Sadly though, I can report on how these things are doing. My cabbages are not yet forming heads, and I'm having some hydration issues here as well, but it has been kind of a drought year. So yes, let's move back to, like I said, some much nicer looking tomatoes. So the lawn to garden patch, which I guess is the name for this year, we'll see. I don't know. I was dreaming about it all winter, made it happen, feeling pretty good about it. It would be really nice if I had gotten an earlier start on these spaghetti squash, but that said, they still make a nice looking row and are a gentle reminder to me that, people do row gardening for a reason. It looks nice, man. It looks nice. You can see some beets Nice little thistle in the middle of there, so I'll have to come back here with the leather gloves, but definitely some nice looking beets growing in there. I would say less than 25% of the seeds that I put down are actually sprouting up as beets, but who knows, maybe we'll get some in future years. Late to start type situations. Still, it'll be nice to have them. It's going over Facebook memories, apparently like 6 years ago, so when we first moved here, we had beets growing then too. This tomato patch, still not quite the nicest looking, but if I get in here, I mean, this one here's knee high, got lots of flowers all over it, so that is good. And a couple that just kind of randomly died off, like this dead spot there's less than thrilling, but right beside it, everything is fantastic. I mean, I was momentarily worried that maybe there was something in the well water, but since everything else is doing fine, I can only assume it's just that plant struggled. Got some random dills popping up. It's always lovely because it certainly smells nice when you bump into it while weeding and such. Then we got this tomato patch. Now this tomato patch makes me a very happy bear indeed. In the corner we've got a couple of mystery plants. This one here was one of those, well, I started it and lost track of what seeds were what, and I was looking, and hopefully, let's see if I can try and zoom in. This appears to be a yellow zucchini. That one's not dying, because there's another one just kind of behind it there. I don't think I'm getting it with the camera, but yellow zucchini. So that is wonderful, because the green zucchini is clearly doing just fine. So it'll be nice to have a comparison, the garden versus the garden ship there. But holy tomato flowers on this patch. Oh my. And some of these go well beyond my knee and almost up to my hip, so that's wonderful. And this is our production patch, or our canning patch. So we've got lots of bush beefsteaks over here. It's quite clearly bushing out. Like this one here, I'm just loving the look of this plant. Oh, woof. That's huge. And of course there's that green tomato smell when you knock them around, so that's good. And there are a couple of random dill in here as well. Like here's a couple just kind of showed up. I did plant the carrots intentionally. Let's see, here's a better example of maybe how the carrots are doing. And you know, judging by the carrot greens, all is well. Now, I have pulled up a couple of carrots because I like baby carrots, and these guys are nowhere near ready yet, so I'm just going to leave them in the ground for a while. But carrots love tomatoes, right? That's what they say. These tomatoes sure seem pretty happy about the situation, and like I say, judging by the greens, they're pretty happy too. A couple of random dill that are popping up in here are doing fantastic. Then we've got the intentional dill. So I don't know if the seeds got away from me when I planted this, but that doesn't explain how they got into the second garden patch back there, or how they keep popping up over in that patch either. So I think there was a lot of dill here in the past, and I just keep kind of unearthing it from the seed bank. With this little row, man, oh man, that's going to be so beautiful when that opens into its little explosion of color. And then we've got the two different types of beans here. I'm seeing so many people in the gardening groups, they've already harvested their stuff. But I still got something on the grow. It's not a race, man. It's groceries. So you can see here, these are the radishes. Just get so beat on by those little canola beetles, flea beetles. And yet, they will eventually grow well enough to put on seed, and those radish pods are pretty yummy and tasty. So I've given up on radish bulbs in our garden, but I have absolutely learned to love those radish pods. So alright, here's the wind kicking up. It was being so good all day. Oh, these perennial onions. We have enjoyed quite a few of these in our assorted dinners. All the little chopped tops, you can kind of tell. But some of these things have just gotten huge. and then some of them are just quite assorted in size. So we might end up doing a quick pickle, one of those little 250 ml 1 cup jars, just to have some pickled onions in the fridge. But otherwise we're just kind of using them as we feel like, oh well, we need an onion, so I'll run out and grab a handful of these and pretty much call that done. The soil peppers, not doing fantastic. The weeds in this garden are doing better than anything else, but we do have some success stories. The super chili, I am pleased to say and to see some red on there, so that's very nice. I mean, super chilies are always really very productive when they do grow, so I knew that was a safe purchase, was going to get something out of it in the long run. The thing that amazes me though is this bathroom pepper. This beast has been alive for so long and looking like it was dying for so long, and then it's come out, and this year we've got new growth all over the place, and there's even a very scary, this is a Trinidad cross, I believe. I don't remember what it's crossed with. Bootless scorpion might have been one of them, and clamshell might have been another. But it's got flowers all over it. I kind of wish I hadn't decided that it was not coming back in this year, because it's finally decided to be productive. But it shouldn't take 3 years to grow a pepper plant. That's just crazy. Anyway, we'll look over at the Three Sisters garden patch here, where we've also had some very inconsistent results this year. A few of the corn plants that grew, they're doing fantastic. Like we've got tassels up, silk down on that one there, starting to form. So we'll get a couple of cobs of corn out of all this. But the really weird stuff is some of these smaller plants. Like this one here, not really doing much of anything, but that is one seed that is quite clearly decided it had space and thrown out 3 or 4 stalks. And then up here we've got a very similar situation going on. Like that is one seed, and I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different stalks coming up out of that. So is it going to give me corn? I don't know. There's a start of tassels in the heart of all that, but sure is an interesting corn plant. This much I do know. Our little pond ecosystem is doing so well. The duckweed is just a wonderful little nutritious treat for the chickens. The goldfish are loving it out here. Doesn't look like we've lost any of these larger ones, although there was a loss with one of the goldfish in the rain barrel. We had a really heavy storm. I think the drumming of the rain falling into the barrel from the gutter was too much, so I transferred the others out, and they're in a different barrel now. Chickens always got something to say. All right, well, I guess that's probably about it for today, folks. I just wanted to give you a quick run around and show you how things are growing along. I am thrilled with that lawn to garden tomato patch, and yeah, I'm really excited about potential harvest. There have been bees just all over that, and there are flowers all over that. And when I do cut down the tomatoes, I can find out how the carrots actually did. So that'll be interesting too, and kind of, using the same space for 2 things. So that's always fun. Layering up your garden opportunities, is a good way to get more crops out of the same space, isn't it? All right, so yeah, I think that is where I'm going to wrap it up. Much love, everybody. Thank you for joining me in my garden adventures as I continue to try and figure out just what's growing on. And yeah, I will see y'all next time.